Hi there, it's Ken with Roguedeckbuilder.com here with some spoilers for the 20th of January. Sorry I've been away for the weekend. I was competing in PTQ Fort Collins and didn't have time to update some spoiler videos. So here I am. This is Tuesday the 20th, doing some spoilers. Got some exciting ones here. First of all, I'm just going to talk about just 6 of them. There's been more spoiled, but these are the ones that interest me the most. There's a couple other ones that are okay, but I'm going to start off with Whelming Wave. Whelming Wave is a pretty cool card. I kind of wish this was instant speed. It says return all creatures to their owner's hands except for krakens, leviathans, octopuses. Is that how you say it, plural? I think they got that one wrong. Anyway, and serpents. So it is 4 mana for a sorcery speed. Basically, what is it? It was an upheaval that existed. And if you build around this deck, I mean, if you're using krakens, leviathans, octopus, or serpents, you should actually be able to use this to your advantage. So kind of a one-sided upheaval. Not too bad. It'll go good in like a planeswalker strategy, as you can return all of your opposing creatures to their owner hand, kind of set them back. This can be activated with just 4 mana, as opposed to Cyclonic Rift is more of a 7 mana, but then again, it is only creatures. It isn't permanents like Cyclonic Rift is. I do think this will see a bit of play. Quicken plus this is pretty powerful, and I'm sure there's some other combinations, so not too exciting of a card, but I thought I'd mention it, as I do think that Whelming Wave will see play. The next one I want to talk about is Vanguard of Brahmas. Vanguard of Brahmas is another heroic card. A little bit excited about this because it is another 2-drop heroic card. I think we do need another 2-drop. It will replace Precinct Captain in my heroic deck, as it acts favorably with the heroic triggers. We get some cool green-white heroic. We get the 3 mana casting cost, instant speed, put 3 counters on up to 3 target creatures, or put 1 counter up to 3 target creatures, which would be really good for the heroic strategy. This guy, Vanguard of Brahmas, is 2 mana, just 2 white mana, has Vigilance, which is actually pretty cool, and whenever you cast a spell that targets Vanguard of Brahmas, put a 1/1 white cat soldier token with Vigilance onto the battlefield. So it will have Vigilance as well. So not only can it attack, but it can sit back for blocking. And then you pair this up with Phalanx, or Phalanx, excuse me. Phalanx Leader. Got Phalanx on my mind for later. This will be, you'll have a pretty good like token plus buff token strategy to get in there for the win. So I'm really liking Vanguard of Brahmas. I think it will see some play. Excited about brewing with this card. The next card I want to talk about is, speaking of Vermas, let's just get right to him, is Vermas, King of Oreskos. This dude is a 3/4 for 3 mana, so it's awesome. It's going to go, it is a mythic rare, and I do think it will be one of the more valuable mythic rares right out the gate, as it is a very cool card. Has Vigilance, which is very important, and it's 3 mana, which is perfect in the White Weenie. I think the White Weenie needs a 3 mana casting cost creature, and this guy hooks up great with any sort of double strike, or not double strike, excuse me, any sort of enchantment, as it will make it so he can both attack and block and get value out of it. So whenever Vermas, King of Oreskos attacks, you put a 1/1 white cat soldier creature token with Vigilance onto the battlefield, which is also attacking. So this guy actually attacks for 4. Not quite a Geist of St. Traff, doesn't have hexproof, doesn't attack for 6, but it does attack for 4, and the token does stick around, which might be nice later down the road. And then also whenever he blocks, you could put a 1/1 white cat soldier token on the battlefield as well. So you really got to think of this guy as a 4/5 a lot of the times. I mean, he still does Dynamisium Orders. If he was a 4/5, he wouldn't, but this is awesome because then again, he puts in tokens immediately. Precinct Captain has to connect with to be able to get the soldier token, and the soldier token does not attack as Precinct Captain attacks. So I think this is just a strict upgrade. Again, Precinct Captain is only 2 mana, and this is a 3 mana. But I do think Vermas is strong enough both in mid-range strategies and in aggro strategies. So I definitely think this card will see a ton of standard play and will be a very, very good card. He survives. One good thing about him, he does survive the -3/-3 Bile of Blight, and he does also survive the new Infest. So definitely looking forward to brewing with Vermas. I think he'll be a powerhouse. Let's go on to another heroic card, which is Hero of Lena Tower. This one's kind of cool. It's 1 green mana for a 1/1, and whenever you cast a spell that targets Hero of Lena Tower, you may put you may pay X. If you do, put X +1/+1 counters on Hero of Lena Tower. So this guy will be a nice little mana dump. I don't know if it's powerful enough to see play. Green has some decent like Celestia charms, but usually if you're going to be using the heroic strategy, you're going to be tapping out anyway for as much mana as possible, and you have to actually spend mana to get initial +1/+1 counters. You can't pay 0 and get a 1/1 counter. You actually do have to spend at least 1 to get a 1/1 counter. So it is a nice 1-drop. Do I think it will see play? Probably not, because there's just better heroic cards to begin with. I mean, this is a heroic card that comes out early for green, which has been green's problem, is all the heroic cards are late game. So maybe you'll see it in that aspect, but unfortunately I think that the white heroic cards are just more powerful if you're going to go a green-white heroic strategy. So don't think that Hero of Lena Tower will see much play, but it is a very interesting card. Alright, and another card that I'd like to talk about, which will be a commander staple, is Hero's Podium. This is a pretty cool card. It's 5 mana, so that's a bit pricey. That's why I think it will only see play in Commander. I don't really think there's a place for it in Standard or Modern or anything like that. I mean, you could say that there could be some sort of Tron Legendary deck. I mean, they already do use one legendary creature in Tron, and maybe you could go a whole Eldrazi type strategy with Hero's Podium, because it does feel kind of like the Eldrazi Tower, or Eldrazi, the land that goes and searches for Eldrazi. But other than that, you can get some big legendary creatures. These don't even have to be colorless creatures. But anyway, it's X and tap. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may reveal a legendary creature card from among those cards and then put that into your hand. The rest of those go on the bottom of your library. So pretty powerful legendary creatures in the history of Magic. You have like Gristlebrand. You have just basically any EDH deck or Commander deck is just full of legendary cards. I'm thinking this is going to be a fun little Commander card. So right off the bat, it's going to be too pricey. It's going to have this, like the people that want it immediately for their Commander decks, is going to be extremely pricey. And then this will go down to a bulk rare, and then you can pick it up at bulk rare prices. And then with like a year or two, it will go up to $1, $2, and continue to rise as Commander as time goes on in the Commander meta game. Anyway, now on to the last spoiler that I'm very excited to spoil. This card is cool because it's finally a god that actually wants to become a creature, which is what I've been talking about all along, which is Phenox, God of Deception. And I'm going to do a deck tech with this guy right out the gate here, so be expecting that soon. Phenox, God of Deception, costs 5 mana. He costs 3 colorless, a blue and a black. And he's indestructible like all the other gods, and as long as your devotion is blue or black is less than 7, he's not a creature. We do want this guy to become a creature because he says creatures you control have tap. Target player puts the top X cards of his or her library into his graveyard, where X is a creature's toughness. He is a 4/7. A 4/7. That is 7 cards per turn. Of course, he does have summoning sickness, so you won't be able to activate his first turn, but he works very well with a card I've been talking about for quite a while, which is Lazav. Lazav is a 3/3 hexproofer, which can actually, if you have Lazav and Phenox, all you need is one more measly devotion to have this guy active. This could be a Detention Sphere, this could be an Ashiok, this could be even a Cloudfin Raptor will have the Phenox, God of Deception, active if you have a Lazav. The great thing about Lazav, he is hexproof. He dodges the new Infest. He cannot be targeted by Doomblade. Any creature removal spell he cannot be targeted by. Does die to Anger of Gods, but you have some awesome synergy between Phenox, God of Deception, and Lazav. As Lazav, anytime a creature goes to an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, you can turn it into a copy of that creature. So you get a bigger guy, like a Desecration Demon. You now have a hexproof Desecration Demon that can tap and put the top X cards of opponent's library. So it puts him on a very fast clock. I'm thinking Phenox is really, really amazing. I don't know if he'll see standard play. He'll see definitely a ton of casual play. This could jump up the price of Ashiok, could jump up the price of Lazav, and another one, Consuming Apparition, I think will be very good with this card because Consuming Apparition gets +X for the number of cards in opponent's graveyard, and it just gets bigger and bigger with every activation. And it's just a pretty fast clock. You don't need to attack in with Consuming Apparition, and everything you cast mills, and they'll be on a very fast mill clock. So I think that the mill is definitely a strategy now with Lazav. So I definitely think that Lazav is a card you can pick up. The casual crowd will eat it up. It works perfectly with Phenox, so go buy those Lazavs right now. They're still pretty much bulk mythics, and I think they'll be around $5 to $6 mark after Phenox. initially, and I don't know if it, like I said, I don't know if this will actually be competitive enough to play, and there is hate against the mill strategies. We still do have Elixir of Immortality, and I guess you could Pithing Needle Elixir of Immortality to get away from that strategy, but I think there is some other shuffle cards from library or from graveyard back into library cards that ultimately shuts down kind of these mill strategies. But mill is such a popular deck in the casual crowd. We cannot keep Consuming Apparitions in stock at the store that I work for, as there are so many people that, like, almost every casual player has a mill deck. And Consuming Apparition, if it wasn't for the pre-release and they come in the pre-constructed decks, man, oh man, I think that card would actually be like a $3 or $4 card rather than just a $2 rare, just because of the amount that has been printed. So definitely, I think pick up the copies of Consuming Apparition, pick up the copies of the Lazav, and I guarantee they're going to go up in value. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and close this spoiler. There's a couple other cool spoilers that maybe I'll talk about. We're a little bit above 40% spoiled, I believe, for Born of the Gods now, and I will do a top 10 list as soon as we have the entire spoiler, as well as a primer for what I think will be a great pre-release color to go. Right now I'm really impressed with black and green, and so I'm probably going to choose one of those, even though I don't like the card for either one of those colors. The green one's okay, the black one is terrible for the pre-release cards. So anyway, hope you enjoy these videos. I'm going to go ahead and start brewing that Phenox deck. This has been Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com. Thanks for watching.